Very hard. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yesterday, Jared Kushner said the notion of the federal stockpile was it's supposed to be our stockpile. It's not supposed to be state stockpile that they then use. What did he mean by our?
Well, why didn't you ask him?
And
I mean,
given the fact that taxpayers from
what's
every
that? It got
state
you.
need
I got you.
to No,
You
it's
used the
not a
word
gotcha. What
hour. You know what hour means? United States of America. That's what it means. It means
the states.
hour. It means the United States of America. And then we take that hour and we distribute it to the states.
But why did
Not
you
that
say
we
it's
have
not supposed to be state stockpiles that they then
because we need it for the government and we need it for the federal government. But when the states are in, to also keep,
It's not to the states.
to keep for our country, because the federal government needs it too, not just the states. But out of that, we oftentimes choose, as an example, we have almost 10,000 ventilators, and we are ready to rock with those ventilators. We're going to bring them to various areas of the country that need them. But when he says our, he's talking about our country. He's talking, he's talking about the federal government. I mean, it's such a basic, simple question, and you try and make it sound so bad. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know what? You ought to be ashamed. It's such a simple question. He said our. And our means for the country. And our means for the states, because the states are a part of the country. Don't make it sound bad. Don't make it sound bad. Go ahead, Steve. Go ahead, back here. You just asked your question. You just asked your question in a very nasty tone. Let's go.
You didn't give me an answer.
Please.
Mr. President,
I gave you a perfect answer. You know it. Go ahead.
well, just to follow up on that, when we have the federal stockpile, I mean, isn't that designed to be able to distribute to the states?
Sure, but it's also needed for the federal government. We have a federal stockpile and they have state stockpiles. And frankly, many of the states were totally unprepared for this. So we had to go into the federal stockpile. But we're not an ordering clerk. They have to have for themselves. Now, some of the states were in good shape. Some of the states were not in good shape. That's probably something you could expect. We have been helping states. We have been spending a tremendous amount of time, effort, and billions of dollars on making sure that they have what they have. I mean, take New York. We built them hospitals. I built them 4 hospitals, built them medical centers, sent a ship with 1,000 rooms and 12 operating rooms. And then on top of that, gave vast numbers of ventilators and vast numbers of surgical gowns, equipment, masks, everything else. Now, they had a chance to order ventilators over the years. They had a chance to order a very big, but they didn't choose to do it. We were there and we helped them. And I think the governor of New York is very thankful for the help that we gave. But we have a stockpile. It's a federal stockpile. We can use that for states or we can use it for ourselves. We do use it for the federal government. We have a very big federal government. Go ahead.
You decided not to use your powers to be essentially a traffic cop for all the essential medical supplies that are needed.
We're not a traffic cop. We're a humanitarian cop. We help. It's like the ships. Do you think we wanted to take 2 big ships into our country that have obvious problems, and you know the problems I'm talking about? So I have a decision to make. Do I take them in or do I save lives? Okay? Do I take them in or do I save? I decided to take them in. And we have tremendous protection. We have great doctors there to help the people. They had 4 or 5 people that died. That was as of last night. They died on the ships. We took care of it. And now the people are in the process of, and many are already back in Canada, they're back in the UK, United Kingdom, and many of them were American citizens. Some were very sick. We're taking care of the sick people. We're testing all of the others very, very carefully. Very, very carefully. They are being tested like you wouldn't believe. And we solve a humanitarian catastrophe. You know why? Because nobody else would take the ships. Nobody else would take them. So we docked them in, I think, Fort Lauderdale.
Why you don't say we're the federal government and there's a shortage of masks and other things, and we're going.
We do say that. We say, and we use the act. Excuse me. We do say that, and we use the act, and we've used it a number of times, very powerfully. And a lot of times we don't have to use it because we say we're going to use it if you don't do this or that. And then we also have companies that act incredibly well. We have plenty of them, mostly them. But we've used the act very powerfully. And a lot of times you don't have to exercise the act. All you have to do is tell them, look, if you don't do this, we're going to use the act. And we've done a good job with it, maybe a great job. Yeah, with ventilators, we're going to find out. But we have other states to take care of. We have a big problem in Louisiana. We have a big problem in Michigan. We have a big problem in 7 other really strong hotspots. But we're doing the best we can. I wish they did the original orders 3 years ago. They would have had all the ventilators they needed, although even then they wouldn't, because if you look at what the original request was from New York, it was far greater than anybody ever heard. And we've supplied a lot. I told you, we supplied some just today to New York, and we supplied some yesterday to New York City. Did you have one in the back? Yeah, please.
If I could say, this is why the question of the stockpile that was asked earlier is so important.
I don't think that was the question.
No, it was a very important question because what Jared Kushner said yesterday is that the federal stockpile is for use by the federal government, not for the states to have access to. So you seem to be saying different. So did Jared Kushner misspeak yesterday?
No, he
is that
didn't. He
federal
didn't
stockpile?
He used the word
available?
our. Okay, our. Our is referring to our country. The states, to the best of my knowledge and to the best of your knowledge, are a part of our country. We are taking what is in the federal stockpile and we are helping states all over the country. But we also want to keep some because when that surge comes, when you hit those peaks, we have to be able to have the flexibility to take those ventilators and bring them to Louisiana, New York, Detroit, different places. That's all.
We will be using
But the
them for
word,
the states that
oh,
need
of
them.
course, we're not using them anywhere else. We're not going to be using them, John, anywhere else. But we want the flexibility because, we don't even know when the surge is coming, but it's coming soon and it's going to be big. And some areas won't have it. Some areas will be pleasantly surprised, just like we've been. You look at the chart. States that I thought would have been maybe a disaster turned out to be, really, they've done a great job. Some states are really trouble. But you don't know. You don't know. We have great flexibility. I would have preferred giving them all out. We'd have nothing. And now when we have a surge, we can't get them back from where we gave them because it's very tough to take them back. So we have tremendous flexibility. And it could be New York, it could be Louisiana. Those are 2 that are really rough. New Jersey is very rough. And they've done a very good job in New Jersey, but New Jersey is very rough. Go ahead, please.